Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us for the MAM Mentorship Spotlight Moments. I'm super excited to have a few of my mentees here, just a few, representing the MAM Mentorship that we have been on a journey for the last year. And so I'm excited to introduce them to you, well, allow them to introduce themselves to you because I cannot retain all that these amazing women do in my head at 56. So I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves to you and to also share a little about who they are, what they do. And then we're going to have some conversation about their individual journeys and what they have gleaned by being a part of this mentorship. And then prayerfully at the end, at some point in time, we'll be able to let you know about the upcoming opportunity for you to be a part of what these women have already experienced in their own lives, ministries, and businesses. So thanks for being here. I am Dr. Joyce Gilmer. I am known as a dream activator in the Kingdom Streets. I love helping women to wake up to their dreams, get clear about their purpose, and learning how to profit from their passion in the ministry and marketplace spaces that they're called to serve in by leveraging their talents, their gifts, their skills, and even their anointing to really maximize their impact, their influence, and also increase their income as a result of that. And so I just love being able to do that. That's my corporate and ministry side. I'm also a preacher, been in ministry for 35 years. I'm a prophet. I'm an author 2 or 3 times over. And so I'm just excited to be able to pour in this way. I have my own coaching practice, Empowered Living Coaching and Consulting. I get to do this every single day full time. And so I'm excited to now add mentorship as another leg of what God has called me to do. And so these women were the brave women, the brave souls that were a part of the inaugural founding membership group that we started on last year, or the top of this year, actually now January of this year. So I'm going to just go and screen order, ladies, and I'm going to, so that means Erica, Britt, Lynette, and then Pastor Rhoda will go in that order. And I just want you right now just to tell them a little about who you are and what you do, and then we'll toss the mic to the next person. So right now, over to you, Erica. Thank you for sharing.
Hello, everybody. I am Erica Anderson, your healing and deliverance practitioner. I am a life coach. I am a retired educator. I am also a preacher, and I'm excited to be here.
Unmuting helps. Hello, everyone. I am Britt. I am a reclaiming advocate, and I'm also a brand and launch strategist. And I help companies, brands, and businesses that are seeking to launch out into the online space. And with the claiming, I am someone that is an advocate for people learning to get back to their identity and getting to the being of who they are in their shifts in life. So that is me.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Lynette Jackson, and I am the owner of Roar Media Group. Roar is a digital marketing company that helps its clients speak out loud in the marketplace. And we do this with graphics, videos, voiceovers, strategic plans. I'm also an author and a speaker. I can truly say that I'm a speaker and an author. I used to say I want to be, but now I am. So just happy to be here.
Hello, I am Rhoda Ragland. I'm from Georgetown, Kentucky. Listen, I'm so used to the clubhouse intro. I am a pastor. I am a prayer coach, a prayer mentor. I have many hats. I'm a cosmetologist. I'm an author. I'm a prophetess. I mean, I'm a little bit of everything, a wife and many things. But tonight I just come as a part of being a part of this great group, and I'm grateful for what God is doing in the midst of MAM. So I am here, and thank you, Dr. Jones, for the invitation to come tonight and be a part of.
Yes, ma'am. You know, I was like, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So I am excited that you all get to meet these women. I'm listening to them give their introductions, and it even makes me even more proud the level of clarity that I'm hearing them present themselves in, even some new adjectives being added on since we first started at the beginning. So when I hear the confidence in presenting the reclaiming advocate and that I'm definitely a speaker and I'm a prophetess, like that would have not been happening ever. Like Pastor Rhoda just was never like, yes, I'm a prophetess. Like, no. So to hear her articulate her calling in that way, her authority in that way, and have the confidence that she does in articulating that to me is huge. Mm-hmm. And so I have so many questions I want to ask you that are in my head right now. And so we're going to just kind of do this popcorn style, unless I feel a real specific directive to ask someone specifically. But I want to ask the first question on the table tonight would be, I think, just what was it initially that drew you to want to be a part of MAM? I mean, you all are already doing amazing things. So, what was it that identified or showed you that maybe there was something else or another level of expression that you needed to walk out in that caused you to enroll and say, yeah, you know, but I still need mentorship in this space? So, anyone can tap into that. Just let me see who you are.
I think for me, it was making it official, because I think I met you back in 2019, and you kind of unofficially mentored me this whole time. And so when the opportunity became available, I jumped on it because I was like, okay, let's make it official. And I also knew that God had opened a time and space for me to further develop. I had recently retired. And so it was just the timing of God and the fact that you had allowed God to open that opportunity, and you counted the cost and you knew what it was going to require, and you were willing to do that, and I was willing to be there for all of it.
So, timing, I heard that timing. Who's next?
I will go next. I've been knowing well, I met Dr. Joyce by the way of Clubhouse. I know I have to keep saying that, or I shouldn't have to keep saying it, but by Clubhouse, just hearing her voice was one of those things. I've been a part of other groups and other mentoring programs, but it was something different about her voice that as the Mary and Elizabeth, that babe leaping, it happened for me when I met Dr. Joyce, or hearing her in the rooms. So even before she offered this particular program, this particular mentorship, I was like, I was watching you from a distance, and I was gleaning from you when I would come into rooms that you were in on the stages and platforms. So I knew that it was going to be a right time. And then when the time opened up, it was right on time, because I was trying to understand how to take, I'm not going to go too far, but how to go from ministry to marketplace and marry the two. And your language that you were speaking, it helped me understand it. And it gave me a language that makes sense now. It's making sense. Let me say that. It's making sense now. So, yeah. So just being a part of, just listening to in the audience, listening to you, it was what was drawing me, was your voice and your sound. So, yeah, that.
Yeah, because one of the things, I'm going to hop in really quick before Lynette speaks. One of the things that I always echo and teach is that there are people that are assigned to your sound. So it's important for you to show up and to speak up in whatever your specific lane is that you are assigned to. A lot of times we dismiss because we say, oh, well, there are already 25,850 men coaches. Like, why do I need to start a coaching business? You know, or there's already thousands of preachers. Why do I need to walk out in ministry? Because God has enough of those, right? There's enough people doing that, but they're not people that walk in the space, the grace that you have to offer, the unique gifting that you have, the unique sound that you have, the skill set, the strategy, the impartation. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Your unique DNA is assigned to a specific people. And so you need to stand up in whatever that space is, in the God confidence, the authority and the voice, the articulation that you are called to show up in, because there are people waiting to hear the frequency that you release. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm always encouraging women of ministry and women in ministry, really, who are called to marketplace spaces as well, to listen. Let's be all the things. Like, that's what I'm always saying, be all the things, because I was limited. I was told to choose one thing. You know, you need to choose one thing. And if you leave ministry, then now you're, somehow backsliding. It's like, I wasn't leaving ministry. I was walking in a fuller expression of my ministry in the marketplace space. So clarity is everything, right? When you get understanding about that, you don't have any qualms about what God's called you to do, who you are, and who the people that you are assigned to. I'm clear about who I'm called to serve. I'm not going to be for everybody, right? But I'm confident in who I am called to. And like you said, Pastor Rhoda, as long as I show up in my assignment, I didn't go into Clubhouse with the intention to even start a mentorship program. That was not my intention. My intention was just to obey God and to follow the cloud as he was leading me in the direction. But as I showed up in my assignment, my frequency began to hit the ears and the hearts of specific people that God needs me to attract to and connect with, so that now what's in me can activate what's in them, and we can continue to make a greater impact in the world. That's how it works, y'all. So just show up in your assignment and then watch God literally do the rest. So I'm going to let Lynette chime in here and respond to the earlier question.
Yeah, I can't agree with that even more, Dr. Joyce, because again, I met you in the clubhouse streets too. And that clubhouse is something. But you know what? I thank God for that clubhouse because I've met so many awesome people in clubhouse. And so I think I probably heard you speak, on stage. In Glenn Brooks's room. I used to be in the bootstrapping and business and ministry room, and just like Pastor Rhoda says, it's the voice. And so, as you begin to continue to hear wisdom, knowledge, it speaks to your spirit, and it really, really pours into you. And so, I called you and asked you, like, hey, you know what? I don't know why. I just need to ask you if I can get into this mentoring program. And you had just told me that day or the day before, God had told you to open up a couple more seats. You didn't know why. And one of them was for me because he is my best friend and he hooks me up whenever I need him to hook me up. But it was the voice. And so, yes, Clubhouse was really great for me to be able to do that. And I've just learned so much.
Yeah, and so I'm going to share this insight, and it'll be a note, and those that know me know I'll just drop nuggets, so you just got to catch it as it needs to be caught. But while you were talking, I was saying it's unique and interesting how God will use the thing that you thought would disqualify you, the thing that you dislike, the thing that other people have even dishonored. That's the thing that he will use to really magnify what he's called you to do on the earth. And so when you all talk about my sound and my voice, I have always disliked my voice. Like I have
Oh my
not
God.
liked my voice. I have back in the day when I first started preaching, we were with cassette tapes, we record the cassette tape and they would give me the tape. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear myself speak. Like I just felt that I don't sound like a preacher. My voice is, I talk fast, like just all the things that the enemy would use to make me disqualify my voice and myself so that I would not show up and speak and do the thing that God had me to do. Can you imagine if I had decided to believe the enemy and kept rolling down that track? Then I wouldn't be speaking today. I wouldn't be preaching today. I would not be prophesying today. I wouldn't be coaching or mentoring. That one thing would have kept me from my full purpose. So it was a beauty in that the Lord gave me indirect mentorship first to connect with people that really helped me to get clarity on who I was, get that God confidence. And so as I began to be delivered in my own right and walk in a full expression, I realized that this was really about my full assignment and my calling, that I am literally anointed and assigned to help other people's voices be unleashed, for the volume to be turned up on the volume. If they're whispering, it's time for you to roar, right? If you're not speaking at all, just start with the whisper. But at the end of the day, I'm going to push you. I'm going to activate you. And I didn't even like being called that for the longest time. I used to be called the pusher. I said, I don't want to be called that. That sounds like it can have two meanings. So we landed on Dream Activate Her. And so that's the space that I'm in. And that's what I love to do. I do it every day in some capacity with preaching and prophesying and coaching and now mentoring. I'm super excited. And I see that one of my other mentees here is Kim, and she was another silent one. But to see her now to walk in a fuller expression, to have her first live event, and so it's just amazing to see the growth so that you all have experienced. So I want to ask you another question that's not just on my mind tonight is, what was, depending on how many things come to your mind, were some of the things that maybe you looked at as deficits or you were insecure about, that as a result of because of the program, though, now you're walking more fully or more confidently in? Anybody can jump in.
I'll jump in. So I'll say for me, it was really a lack of confidence that anyone would want to hear what I had to say, because I was in a space where I was known for really just one particular thing. So I didn't think that if I began to express myself in other ways or show people what was on my heart, that it would be received or people would understand it. So because of that, I really just allowed myself to kind of stay stuck and stagnant. And then when I wanted to, start speaking, I did. But just like you said, we have like all these things and we do all these things, but I was trying to do all these things in just one little space, right? And I wasn't allowing myself to be put in the places I needed to be. So I think that's one thing that really helped me with the mentorship, is that I don't have to like box myself in, and that I can be all the things, and it doesn't have to be in just one particular area. Like there's so many things, like so many facets and gifts that a lot of the women in the mentorship have, and it's finding, okay, where can I release this gift? Like, okay, who needs to hear what I have to say about this? Where can I go here? So for me, that's what it was, just learning that it is okay, and it is okay to understand that you have the gifts, that you have a sound, that you can release it, and that you don't have to be kind of sparing with the way that you do it. So
Yeah, and didn't you find that as you showed up in that expression with more confidence, that you discovered that there were people actually looking for you to actually show up in that space?
yes. Yes. One of the spaces that I'm in, like I said, I was known for one particular thing, and I stepped away from it for a year. And when I just started back in it about a month ago, I went in it not really trying to force myself to be anything in particular, just going in and just kind of just giving them the things that were on my heart. And if it felt right, then I would do it. And it was so well received. It's almost kind of received more in this way than it was before. So yeah, it's nice.
I'm smiling because I know what she's talking about. And I did not, in her old space, I met her on Facebook online in her old space. And I just was so attracted to not only just her beauty, but just her peace, her voice, her calmness. And every morning I made sure I was connected with Britt every single morning. Every morning. I got dressed listening to her every morning. And then I had an opportunity to meet her, and I was like, "You're that girl." And it was just so awesome. And then now, after that, getting chance to, really interact with her and meet with her. She has such a beautiful gift, and she is so sweet, and she's so gentle, but she has a powerful gift. It's like they say in patois, in little but in talawa, which means small in stature but mighty in power. And that's what I feel for Brit. So I'm smiling because I'm so happy to see you back in this space. I missed you so much.
It's so funny that you mentioned the space since we're talking about the space. We're going to tell them at some point what that space is. Um, because I don't know anything about the previous space, had never heard of Brit, just knew God connected us in Clubhouse because one of the things that God has called me to do is to create platform for people's purpose. So when I see the potential in a gift that's not being fully expressed, I just am gifted to see the potential. And then there's this gray side in me that opens up opportunity for people that I see potential in who may not be fully walking in it yet, but there's potential. And so I'll create platform for the potential because I believe that the platform often is a place of cultivation, whereas other people operate from the perspective that you got to be fully cultivated before you can hit the platform. I'm gonna let that soak.
Whoa.
I'm gonna let that soak. So that's what the level of this mentorship that I offer. This is what God called me to do. And so, because I believe that the more opportunity I gave people to speak and to share, the more confidence is that they gained. And they're walking in even a fuller expression and then launching in their own spaces as a result of that. Like I've seen Britt have her own rooms, her own things. And so when the more she started to show up and what she was doing, I happened to go to a church with someone. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you know Britt? I've been following her for such and such a time, and she's so I can't believe you know her. Like she's a celebrity." I'm like, I had no idea I was coaching a celebrity. I didn't know she was a celebrity, because that's not how we connected. We connected in Clubhouse in the safe space, and so, but I think that even that was a level of protection because there was no pretense.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about her. She didn't know anything about me. Like God orchestrated everything. And there's so much more, even with Britt, like so much more deeper. Like she's not just the mentee. Like she came in a Clubhouse, lending her gifts as an administrative gift, and she had became the glue of the Kingdom Builders community there. Then there were other sisterhood developed as a result of being in that space. And so, I mean, even with us, God has developed our relationship at a deeper level. And so you just have to be in the places and spaces that God has called you to. And I want to say this prophetically, that there is a safe place for you. Like, there are safe spaces and safe places that God will literally set you up to be a part of. And so if you're feeling like discouraged in any way or mishandled or, even discontented, just stay in a place of prayer and ask the Lord to lead you to the space, because there are spaces of protection, spaces that will help build you and cultivate you and not take advantage of you. Like, those spaces absolutely exist. And just be prayerful. I would venture to say that MAM is such a space, and I'm not trying to promote it, but I am trying to promote it because I want you to understand, one of the reasons that I'm mandated to do this is because I could not find the space. And for myself, when I was developing in certain areas, so when I knew that I had potential, but I was looking for cultivation, I really couldn't find the space because those people wanted you to already have it together. And so one of the mandates is that God told me, I want you to be what you wanted to see. And that's why I ended up creating really everything that I've done. Kingdom Sisters Network, the Kingdom Builders Community, this mentorship. I was like, man, it'd be great if we had a mentorship that did whatever. God's like, you do it. You build it. And so this is why we're here with even MAM on tonight, and why it's pretty much just basic ministry and marketplace. Like, if you have those areas of gifting you want to expand in, walk deeper in, have even more spiritual understanding concerning, I think Pastor would have talked about the spiritual side. A large part of this particular first cohort, because we have an application process that they go through, was understanding who they are from a prophetic place and a prophetic space, and developing and growing in that gifting. So that became a part of our instruction, and a lot of what we talked about, even by way of activation and doing activation, so we can begin to get more comfortable in prophesying, and even learning how to release the prophetic when we felt the inkling or the unction to do so. So MAM, to me, has been a space that has offered even the spiritual development component of it as well. So it's not even just about a lot of practical steps and tips and step A, B, C, D, but because it's a spiritual impartation, which is what mentorship, from my perspective, actually is. It is not about inspiration, but it is impartation. It is literally me as a mentor pouring out who I am by way of my wisdom, my insight, my prophetic gifting, and all the things that God has called me to do. But I'm able to do it in one space, a safe space with an intimate group of people. And so I have appreciated the journey. I have also been stretched in the journey. I have grown as a result. I have felt challenged by some of the mentees that made me go deeper, dig deeper, research more, all these types of things. And so that, to me, is what it's about. I believe that mentorship should be reciprocal. I think a lot of structures and entities are where the mentor is like the grand poobah, and the mentee does everything for the mentor. The mentee does all the things. And so I have realized that with this space and the way that God has orchestrated, there's a level of reciprocity that I appreciate that happens in this space. So I know I talked a lot already, but did anyone else want to chime in with experiences, or Pastor Rhoda?
I did. You said it. I think you said it once, and the word safe, because every place that said is safe isn't safe. I found it for myself. Let me take that back. I found it for myself that most places that deem themselves safe aren't safe, or they had not been safe for me. But ma'am, I can say it's safe. It was a safe environment. It is a safe environment. As long as we've been connected each and every time, even with the different women that we've met, is they're still safe. You can still reach out to them. They're still holding on to the things that you were shaking or making your knees shake, the things that you decided to maybe not talk on camera, and you called them or text them or whatever, and they helped you through it. They walked you through it, and they kept it, right? And they bathed it in prayer. So that was safe for me, because I've been in places and spaces that, especially a female pastor, African-American pastor, especially in the area in which I live, that's not common. We have many ministers, but there's not many female pastors, Black African-American pastors. So those areas or those places that they said, oh yeah, come on, you can share with us, or come and glean from us, it didn't turn out that way. And I was a little hesitant in the beginning because I had already had that experience. But I'm so glad that the nudging kept coming, the urges kept coming from the Lord. Oh no, it's okay, it's good to do. What it says, it is a safe place, and you said it and you meant it, and it has been. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, amen. Kudos. I'm excited about that because, again, being what I wanted to see, right? So
Yes.
people may or may not know that I have 35 years ministry experience, and I mean not just serving, but in leadership roles. So in pastoring and co-pastoring, and leading women's conferences and all that I've done, and then the corporate side, as a branch manager in corporate America for several years. And then just in the prophetic. And so I have a lot preaching, not just all the things that I've done. And I've been a pastor's wife. And so I know what that looks like. And I have worked in ministry with my husband, and I know what it's like to also, from the early stages, even as an evangelist, just starting in ministry and, doing revivals and tent revivals and, deliverance ministry and casting out devils. Like I have had a lot of experience, like y'all, like a lot of experiences. I have been in with what we would call gospel celebrities. I've been in green rooms. I got I probably got 20 bishops' phone numbers in my phone. If I name drop, you would know who they are. People don't know that about me, but because I don't necessarily use that as a bragging or anything, but I'm just saying I have been exposed to a lot of it, privileged to a lot, privy to a lot. But I believe in operating in discretion. And when people share, and if they're not saying tell the world, I don't tell the world. I keep it in prayer, and we keep things moving. And so we're here to encourage each other. Thank you for sharing that part of just how even outside of the meetings we would have on Saturday, that you're reaching out to each other and, hey, pray about this. Let's lean in concerning this, and that it's a safe space. So I do effort to do that. I'm glad to know that you have felt that here, that you have felt safe inside of MAM. That's huge for me. More than executing a strategy, like knowing that it's a safe space, that's huge. Because I've been in some not so safe spaces as well. So if there's no further comments on that, or what we already talked about, did you all have any rough spots, like any challenges? You're like, nah, I know I just can't. Like this is something that I'm just like not sure about, or any areas of like resistance or struggles, even if it had to do with like the prophetic activations or things I was challenging on. Did you have any like rough spots that you were like second guessing, but now you're glad you pushed through?
For me, it was doing my first live event. Like I was a little like, I don't know, but just the level of accessibility that I had to you, the fact that you were willing to kind of walk me through that process and let me know that I could do that, I could do it, was huge for me. Because a lot of times people will say, okay, I'm seeing this for you, but they're not willing to kind of get in the trenches with you to help you birth it out. But you were one to help me not only birth it out, but to walk me through the steps from the venue to, all the behind the scenes type of thing. And so that accessibility and the fact that you were just willing to kind of get in there with me to see it happen was just amazing. I really thank you for that.
Yes, and that's what I love, because I'm going to tell you, really, that part came from being frustrated with other programs. I'll just say that other programs that I had invested in that were way more expensive and did not deliver what they would say. There was no accessibility. Everything was digital. You got to log on to a system and go through modules by yourself and figure things out by yourself, from a digital perspective. But there's no accessibility to the actual mentor or the actual coach. And so everything's digitized, which, depending on how you're wired, that may work for you. That didn't work for me. And so that I couldn't offer that. Like it just wasn't, I need to see measurable results. And so having conversation, I can hear uncertainty. Chatting with you, I can check voice tone. So I can ask another question, and I can say, I can hear, just like if you're like, in a quandary. So I'm able to come in and reassure, versus if you're going through some online module, on your own, I have no way to measure, what level of success or frustration. And then it really disarms me and keeps me from being a better mentor. And so I really effort to be accessible, which is why I continue to say in the program, reach out. Did I not say that all the time? Reach out, leave a DM, leave an email, give me something so that I will know how to help you. It's the way I measure. It's the way I pulse check. And those who have been successful with this, and I'll be quite honest, that have positive things to say about the program and actually finished the whole program, are the ones who took the extra step to reach out, are the ones who was like, hey, I'm stuck here, or they took advantage of the office hours. Let's talk about office hours, because that's one of the ways that I also try to maintain accessibility. When my schedule allowed, I actually offer office hours so that people could come in and we could do one-on-one outside of just group conversation. But if there was a specific goal or specific area you were stuck in, then we had the office hours to kind of walk through that as well. And so that was my intention. So this is my first time kind of hearing this and asking these questions. So that's good for me to know that you felt that you could reach out and that you were able to have accessibility. Anyone else want to chime in? And your event is actually coming up. Is it next week already?
December 2nd.
December 2nd. She'll be doing her live event. And I'm super excited. I registered today. So I plan to be there. I plan to support wherever I can. If I'm able to be physically in a place or be a part, it is my intention to be there like that for the mentees. And so does anyone else want to chime in before we go to the next question? All right. So my next thing that I want to ask you all is just to share your level of accomplishments. You know, what have you been able, let me ask it this way. What do you feel, what one or two things do you feel you were able to execute as a result of being a part of MAM that you're pretty certain you would not have done and or would still be thinking about doing it? It would just stay in the headspace. You know, I always say that your dreams reside in three places: your head, your heart, or your hands. And in the headspace is just a thought. And in the heart space is a bunch of emotional feelings, but no action. And then what's in the hands, and that's the place of doing. And so if I were to ask you, where were your dreams when you first started, ma'am, and where do you feel they are now? Like, what is the thing that you feel that you were been able to execute as a result of being a part of this particular program?
I'll start. I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to do 3. So I did, when we started in when the program started, I was mentioning that I was writing some books and I was kind of just working through them and just basically just doing brain dumps. And I have published 2 books and I've got a 3rd one coming very soon. I started my I started my coaching program for those in social media, for brands and businesses for social media, and I started a podcast, and that is where I get to do the thing where I release what's in my heart and have those kind of conversations. So I'm able to actually hit all those areas and things that I've been wanting to do, but I kind of felt closed in. So that's what I've been able to do.
Yay! That's only 3 things. Yeah, my book came yesterday. So thank you for that. I'm ready to check it out. We got another author. Who else authored? I think, Eric, your book is already done, but your event is going to kind of be what helps to further give exposure to that. Lynette, why don't you jump in here since we're talking about books?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I discovered my voice. I mean, I had it.
Me too.
But I had a lot of people tell me that it wasn't validated or it just, no one really cared. And so I really believe that. But being in this space, I've learned by listening to Dr. Joyce and just her really encouraging you to speak up. And so just being a mentee, but then also being a part of, y'all know I'll cry, so I'm trying not to cry, but just being a part of the Monday morning, meetings on Monday mornings that we do for the women in the group on Clubhouse has really helped me to have confidence in my voice. In essence, you know what you have in your heart, but then sometimes when you've been told no, or you can't, or you shouldn't, being in that space gave me my voice back. And so gave me an opportunity to have that confidence to speak up, to speak what's in my heart, to speak what I feel that God is saying even to me at times, because I've shied away from that. Oh, no, I don't think that's what God is saying, or maybe I have a headache, or, but I have learned to have confidence in my voice. And so as a result of that, I wrote a book this year called Unfelt, Lost in the Pews at Church. And and oh my God, see, you're gonna make me cry. But it is really just based around the work that I do, and the work that I do with churches. And so I do SWOT analysis. And so the findings that I would have in these SWOT analysis begin to break my heart from what people were saying. And they didn't want to even go back to church. And I just really felt God was saying that, tell them that I didn't hurt them, that people hurt them. And then I have a podcast too, and I didn't know whether that topic was going to be a podcast topic. But as I began to just write and things began to flow. And then, of course, I was in a room with Dr. Joyce, and she said, I'm hearing and I'm seeing. I was like, oh Lord, we should start hearing and seeing. But she's like, I'm hearing and I'm seeing. I see you doing courses. And I had just began to write the course for that. And I see you going out teaching this, and I see you building. And I was like, so I'll be on my desk every Monday morning just bawling, right? Just hands up bawling. But so yeah, that's been so exciting for me. So just hearing my voice, and like you, Dr. Joyce, I didn't like my voice. I didn't even want to listen to my voice on a tape, but I do voiceovers now all the time. And so hearing my voice, having confidence in my voice, and then a confidence in the gift that God has given to me and that He's put in my heart, that I can do this. So I used to say, I want to be a speaker. I want to be a speaker. I think I'm called. I think I'm called. I think I'm called. I think I can. I think I can. And it's like, no way. You are a speaker, and you're an author. You're a speaker. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say I'm a minister. I don't have that piece of paper, but I'm a minister, because every believer, I think, is a minister in some sort of way. And so I've gotten that confidence so much, and I'm just eternally grateful that I had the encouragement to continue to write after hearing what you saw about just the title. And you also did a mention for me in the book too. So mucho gracias.
De nada. De nada. Yeah, so congratulations. I don't know if you saw all the comments. You have to go back and look at all the comments, all the congratulations everyone's giving you.
Thank you, everyone.
You all. Yeah, it's amazing. And when you were sharing even the title of the book, when you asked me to do the write-up, I was like, well, let me hear what it's about, because I've been asked a lot of times to do forewords and all of that. And so it's one thing to, do a forward. People are like, well, can I pay you to do the forward? I mean, it's one thing that way, because I don't really know the person, right? But it's a different thing when you can actually do it from a place of relationship, because you know someone and because they're a part of something, versus a rando. I'm calling it a rando, random person. I call them randos. Asking you, well, hey, would you do the forward on my sister's book? And I'm just like, but who is your sister and what are they writing about? And it's really because they see that I have a level of influence and they want my name on the project. That's really what it's about. And I understand that. And so I'm like, well, I don't feel connected with that. I don't feel connected with that in that way. And so to be able to write and then to see the direction you were coming from, and knowing that I have certainly in my 35 years at some point felt unfelt. That's the thing, feeling unfelt. I was like, oh yeah, this is just like, oh yeah, this is so worth writing about, and it's going to help so many people. And so somebody's asking for the title. Somebody can type it in. What's the title again, Lynette?
It's called Unfelt, Lost in the Pews at Church. And Dr. Joyce, I want to just say something towards that as well. I really appreciate the fact that you wanted more clarity in that. And so you had a question about a particular chapter. And so I sent you the chapter. And then so I think that's important too, to make sure you get clarity for what you're going to lend your name to. And so that was huge, huge, huge. Sean said unfelt. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I think, and I'm gonna just kind of toot my own horn just for a little. Y'all know I never really do that. But I think that also shows a level of my character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could have just been like, ooh, yeah, I'll put my name on the book. Don't care about the project, just that I get to have my name somewhere else for another, kudos in my resume that says I'm also written a foreword for like whatever, because there are people that are clout chase that do those types of things. And so I just am saying this so that because people are wanting mentors and they're seeking people out. And so I think that you need to be thinking about, what is it that you're wanting from this person? One thing that you need to look at is a person's character. You should be checking, are they a part of the CIA? Like, do they have character? Do they have integrity? And do they have an anointing? Like,
Wow.
period.com. If they're not a part of the CIA, you might want to just bypass that, because those are the people that wind up taking advantage of you, that probably don't care a whole lot about you. They're happy about the investment, but you, the person, they may not care as much about, or they may not have the grace or anointing or capacity to carry you. And in that case, they wind up dropping you. You can end up like Mephibosheth, if y'all know who that is. So we don't want that in a mentorship relationship. And we'll probably do a whole talk on that at some point, because I think it'll be necessary for people, because people are looking for people all the time. Will you mentor me? But what is it that you're really looking for? You have to know what you want. And if that person has the capacity to give that to you before you make the investment, in that individual and on your own journey. So, okay. So I think it's my last question, because I have like 10 minutes. Let me first see if anyone has anything you want to say or reflect on anything that's already been said. Like, what would you say? Pastor Rod, are you reaching for your mic?
Yes, I am. From the beginning, I started on doing prayer conferences and prayer retreat as a prayer mentor and prayer coach or prayer coach. And even recently, I'm working on a manual, working on trying to finalize that for the end of the year as one of the major projects, to actually have it handwritten in my hand. I wrote the word down so I would not forget it, and then I don't know where I wrote it. Anyway, a manual. But something that I did the last time that I did a retreat, I've done 3 since June, and I remembered the cloud, because as I was traveling to the event, we were in our Zoom meeting, and then when I got there, I had the manual and I knew what I was going to do because I wrote it. Right, I did the whole program. But I decided to follow the cloud that day. I decided to not necessarily, they didn't know that they didn't know there was A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. But I stopped a few times and just looked up and said, okay, I felt comfortable saying that to myself. They didn't know about following the cloud because they didn't know you. But I felt comfortable in knowing that you said it and you've seen the evidence of it. Of course, we know it's evidence there. But even for me, feeling comfortable to say that I'm following the cloud, or following what God was saying in the next move of this prayer. It would have been a workshop more so, but even the 2 hours I was there, I didn't have an actual hand. I had a handout, but I was comfortable enough to not pull it out and hand it and say, we're going to start at number 1 and work our way through. That when there was something that shifted in the room, I was able to flow in it, and I felt good. I was confident in the flow of it. They thought I was phenomenal. They thought I was just the bomb.com, right? But the ideal, and I thought each time I thought about, that was your language. That's your language, following the cloud, just being comfortable knowing that what God is saying, do number next, where to go, how to go, when to stop, when to move. That was comfortable for me. So I know I'm holding on to that. I'm definitely holding on to that. I'm holding on to my manual. It's going to be printed. It's going to be published. It's going to be all of that stuff. But I'm going to be so comfortable and confident in what I've been writing that I don't have to be stuck to A, B, C, D bullet points, right? So to follow the cloud. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there's so much freedom in that.
Yeah,
to
is.
me.
It is.
And for those that are called to me, because although I believe that God is a God of order, I believe in having a plan, I believe in, getting downloads and hearing clearly what he wants you to do or say. I'm also a big proponent of flowing in the moment with what he's giving you to do in the moment. There's scripture that says, in that hour, I will give you what to say. And so there are sometimes we need to just show up at a place to see what God wants to say. Like, we need to have that level of faith, because it's not about us sitting down and writing notes and having everything so specific. What does he want to do in the moment? How does he want to move in the moment? How does he want to speak in the moment? There are demands that will happen in the atmosphere in the moment that maybe you couldn't even prepare for in your human mindset. I can't tell you how many times that I am just leaning on God. Like, I don't even know, like this weekend, going to the Wealth Experience, like that's a place that, and I talk about it all the time. It's unique for me in North Carolina, because it's really, in my mind, is really like a professional business environment presentation style. Like, that's what I feel should happen. Joyce thinks that that's what should happen at an event with that name, with the type of people in my mind that are there. that are real estate investors and that type of thing. So my mind could say, well, you need to present it this way because it's a professional environment, have this. But the other side of me is like, no, they knew you were a church girl when they brought you here. So I needed to be okay. I need to be okay with how I roll. That I'm going to be professional, but if I feel a prompting, now I may not come out in tongues and, all of that. It still can be prophetic and powerful and give insight to a person that, but it's still prophetic, but it comes out. The presentation is different, if y'all know what I mean. And so I didn't have it in my notes to prophesy to someone or to say this or that. But in the moment, if God says, hey, now we're going over here, I'm going to go over here. Like the hot seat, I didn't have any idea what that person, the kid was going to say he wanted to do. I have to trust in that moment that God's going to give me the strategy in that moment because it's a hot seat. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't plan for that. I didn't know who was going to volunteer for that opportunity. So you do need to make sure that there is a liberality, a little bit of teaching here too. That's how our sessions are. You do need to make sure that you are free and have freedom in how God has constructed you and built you to present. So I put in my notes here, don't let the way others present keep you from showing up in the way that God has called you to present. And how God has called you to show up. For the longest time, I was so boxed in trying to do it exactly like the person who coached me. And quite honestly, it was very overwhelming and frustrating. Because I found myself trying to copy my coach when really I don't have the grace of my coach. I misunderstood the relationship and that the coach is not there to copy the coach. The coach is there to develop your potential that you have on the inside of you, which may not be the same exact lane, the same exact thing, the same exact, right? Coaches don't sit there and coach the athlete to reproduce themselves. They're there to produce the potential in the person, that what they have and what they carry. And so don't let that be the case. Just walk out the fullest expression of what God has called you to do. That's why walking out, who you're supposed to be as a coach is important, because there are people, again, that are looking for you that are not looking for Joyce. They're looking for Pastor Rhoda, looking for Lynette. They're looking for Britt. They're looking for Erica. They're not looking for Joyce. They're looking for you, which is why you have to show up in what you are called to do in your fullest expression and not my expression. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to teach that because I do have observations of people who have been coached by me, who misunderstood. So they're trying to emulate and copy exactly what they see me do. And they're missing the mark because that was not the goal or the intention. And then you don't really have the capacity to duplicate what I carry. Do you know what I'm saying? You only can carry what you can carry. Like learn the lessons, get the understanding, find out how to apply the principles, and then develop what God's called you to create. And then I can support you in that as you're developing and walking in your expression. And so that's the beauty of it, because this work is spiritual work. It's spiritual. It just is. Everything about it is spiritual. All right. Any other comments? I know I said a lot right there. I kind of went into a whole mentee session just right then. Anyone else want to share any final comments about what they learned, how they grew, whether it was spiritual, natural? We talked about we launched the books, we did our first events. If you're if you're watching live, you're not on camera, but you're a mentee, you want to put what you've accomplished, you can do that in the chat as well, and we will take those notes as well.
I just want to say that, this has been a great experience because you learn how to work with others. You learn there's a sisterhood here, and that's important. Not only mentorship, but then you learn how to be a mentor. I've learned how to mentor other people as a result of being mentored. And then there's a genuine friendship. Like I've made friends with so many of the people that I've met, and it's just genuine. And so it's just really nice to be able to see them. Like I saw Britt Saturday. It was just like, oh my God, it's Britt. It's just like that kind of a feeling. So, if you really want to have a sense of belonging and a sisterhood in relationship and friends, I mean, we've cried on those Monday morning calls, and it's just been a great, and like they said, it's a safe space to be. So I've learned so much, and it's important to kind of be really connected with other like-minded women. So I'm just grateful to God to know all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with that. Anyone else?
I I just wanted to say, just finding your prophetic voice was really important for me because I knew I was prophetic, but I didn't really have an environment that helped me to cultivate that and develop that. And I also knew that I had a voice, which I did not like prior to being a part of the mentorship program. And so now I'm able to, and I wasn't even able to listen to myself. Even when I preached, I would never go back and listen to myself. But now I understand that there are people that are called to my sound. And so I've developed greatly in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her voice has such a draw. Like when you hear her speak, it's like, come to me. Like there's a draw to it, which is so amazing. It's like, it's interesting that I coach the you that I used to be. Do y'all see that? Like I
Mm-hmm.
coach people that I used to be because once you are delivered from a thing, now you have an anointing to help deliver that people from that thing. And that's the whole beauty of it. So that's what clarifies. So if you're trying to figure out what you're called to and who you're called to, think about what you were delivered from. And that's a whole indicator. That was a whole nugget right there. See, that was a mentor nugget. So you need to get that and write that down. If you in a quandary trying to figure out what am I supposed to do in my life? Oh my gosh. Think about that. What we delivered from, right? Where do you have freedom from now as a result? And so those can often be indicators as to what you're called to do and who you're called to help. Who else wanted to speak? I think I saw Britt or
I was actually right in line with Erica, just spiritually speaking, just the confidence in for me was in prayer and not being as frightened to pray in front of people. Like in that the space that I host now on Sunday mornings as I'm getting ready, I do just soaking in worship as I'm preparing for my day. And I started off, with prayer, with if I've received a download, I talk about that. And before, like I always very much shied away from showing that side of me, and just like a year ago the thought of me praying in front of anybody, especially like a live full of people, no. So so that I would say definitely that is something that you were able to pull out of me, and I'm continuing to build up my confidence in that area and just not being afraid to show that part of me. That's the new thing. So thank you.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm smiling and I'm happy and I'm proud of that. And so yeah, I one of the things that I definitely effort to do is to always again create platform for potential. So when I asked like Lynette to be a part, and I asked, and this is in the KBH room, that's kind of the exercising ground. When bringing people on the KBH platform, because I know, like I knew what I saw in each of you. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to like seek other co-mods. I can just like tap into other, people or use my mentees because this will be a great place for them to develop. And I knew that there was prayer power in you. I knew that there was prophetic prayer in you, power in you. And so that's why I created the platform so that you have a space to show up every week and to begin to speak and to hear your own voice and get used to your own sound and then develop confidence in that and know how to pull nuggets or create or jump off one person's comment and take another direction, like just all that we do in there, the dynamic of that, and to pray over people that might come to the platform, because I want you to exercise and practice your gifting. Like that's another thing too, like exercising your gift, because it's like a muscle, and that's how it's strengthened, right? And that's how it's perfected. So it just becomes another place and space for us to do that, even in the mentorship sessions on Saturday. Like it's just a space where to have you open in prayer, close in prayer, or to do our prophetic activations. All those things were intentional to help us develop our skill set in that way. And I pray that you have learned a strategy that you'll always use for exercise, and you'll take the books and you'll go into them and you'll read them and you'll continue to rehearse those so that you will be able to, just get stronger, because we teach in my mentorship that the prophetic is developmental. And so it's always growing, always developing. You're never going to figure God out, no matter how smart you are. He's always moving. And so it's always developmental. So we want to always be leaning and learning and growing around the prophetic. And so that's what I'll say about that. I'm definitely going to let you all go because we're 3 minutes over the time. But before I do close out, I do want to definitely give you invitation and information surrounding the upcoming mentorship open enrollment that is open now to apply. You can apply to be a part of the next cohort of the mentorship that's rolling out for 2024. You can apply from now, I think, through December the 13th, I think is the day. And then what you do is you apply to be a part of the program, and then we will do our actual one-on-one and or group interviews, depending on when you're available. And because the Bible says to know there's a labor among you. And so I am just wanting you all to know that I do interviews because I need to know who I'm dealing with, because this is not a program, this is impartation. And because I am pouring into, at the level that I am, getting access to my time, my resources, my insight, my phone number, in some instances, I need to know who I'm dealing with, because everybody ain't, on the up and up. And so there are people that have applied that didn't make it past the application process. Not everybody that applied got in. And so, because I'm not playing games, I'm 56, 56 now. And I just want to make sure and be very specific about my time and who I'm pouring into. And so I have 10 spots open for the 2024 cohort. If you already know that that's you, and you want to be a part of it, definitely you can comment here. I'll go back to the replay and I will send you the direct link. I will also, because I failed to put it in the pin here, I'll put it in the comments after this is over. I'll leave the live up for a couple of days and I'll put the link here, but also you can DM me the words of mentor me, and I will absolutely send you information on how you can actually join and be a part of the 2024 cohort. So I think that is all, y'all. I don't know I really want to show this flyer, but I don't know how to do it without covering our faces. Let's see what happens. Yeah, see, I don't know how to do it without it. But anyways, that's the program. And so you can go to the website. I'll actually put it here, and then you can actually go and read about the program. You can read about what's included and all that we're going to offer in that space. All right. So thank you, ladies, so much for being here, for your pour, your shares, your testimonies, talking about your journey. Before we go tonight, I do want to let each of you share what you're doing next and how people can connect with you. Again, I want to always create opportunity for you to share what you have going on. So do think about what one thing, if it's an event you have coming up, or if it's your book you want to share, go ahead and share that. I think someone will grab it and put it in the comments for us so that people can find it beyond here. So we'll go in screen order. So that would mean, Erica, you'll go first.
Okay. So what I have coming up next is my first live event on December 2nd. I will be launching my Heal Anyway coaching event, and the information is healanyway.me/launch.
One more time, Erica. Say it one more time.
healanyway.me/launch.
Heal Anyway. Okay, I love the name. Whoever's next, let's just go in screen order.
Thank you, Dr. Joyce, again for tonight. So I am going to, for the month of December, I am hosting a month-long Potter's Wheel encounter, and it's going to be a challenge where every day, based off of some of the selections from my journal, we're going to be doing reflections, introspections, and journaling about what it is to be on the Potter's Wheel as the process. As we're going through the shaping process, there's going to be soaking, worship, a week of intercession to close out the month before we enter into the new year. So that's going to be happening starting on December 1st, and it is a free experience. And if you want to take part of it, you can sign up at bit.ly/the Potter's Wheel experience. Or the Potter's Wheel encounter. Lord have mercy. I just made the link today. Just love me, y'all. bit.ly/the Potter's Wheel encounter.
Now, Alicia got it. You know, Alicia got it. She's our resident scribe. She wrote it down for us. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Pastor Rhoda, what you got coming up?
I'm planning a webinar, a 2-hour webinar at the end of December. I'm working on it, and I'm in the process of working on it, actually. Prayer Closet Warriors is my ministry. Pray Her Closet Warriors. I also do my 5 a.m. prayer time on Clubhouse, and I also do it on Facebook. But I'm going to do a 2-hour webinar on Teach Me How to Pray. The benefit of teaching me how to pray. out of Matthew chapter 6, where Jesus is talking to the disciples about going into your prayer closet, the benefit of your prayer closet. So that's what I'm working on and trying to get all the things together and put together so I can execute it by the end of the year. That's my plan. So,
I
yes.
love it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you accountable to make sure you do it.
You and a few other in
I'm
the
like,
chat, they
yep.
already they already own it. Well, yes,
What's
ma'am.
the
Thank you.
date?
I
What's the
need that.
time? When we gonna announce it? Like, yeah,
Yes,
let's.
I'm working. I'm working on it, and I gotta hurry up because I'm supposed to done it. I'm supposed to release most of the information last week, and I got behind. So, but I'm on it. I'm on it.
So
Thank you
they're
for the
gonna hold you
accountability.
accountable, and they're gonna
Yes,
also
ma'am.
help you because
Yeah, we
all
are.
of these ladies have books already done that they've produced and created
Mhm.
and know how to get things done quickly.
Okay.
And so they can help you. So don't not
Yes.
like I'm going to a session again. You don't have to sit and figure it out when you got people that can help you work it out.
Right. Yes,
You
ma'am.
can work it out. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
make sure that you tap in and lean into the resource that is here
I will.
to be able to do so. So I'm going to share that I have two things going on. First of all, if you know you need to be mentored, don't sit by the wayside waiting forever. Definitely reach out and apply. So you can go to bit.ly/mentorship with Dr. Joyce. That is the mentorship link. And then when sisters pray, y'all, like when sisters pray is like in my mind every single day, all day, every day. Like I'm working on the sisters pray, doing something. So if you know, if you are called to prayer, you got a burden for prayer, you know that you need breakthrough in prayer, deliverance in prayer, you want us to pray over your life, your business, your ministry, you want sisterhood to pray with you, for you, and all the things, you need to find your hips in Alpharetta, Georgia, January 20th. I'm telling you all that it is an amazing experience. It is not a conference. It is literally an experience, an encounter with God. It's hard to articulate what really all goes on there. Only those who really have been there will really know. But I'm telling you that you need to be in the space. So this is a mandate from God for me to have this prayer. It's our third year now, going on to our third year. It's a place where God has told me to do at the beginning of the year in January that we will bring women from all across the nation who are doing ministry, marketplace leadership, motherhood, mama-ing, wife-ing, sister-ing, all that we do as women, that would be the place we would start out the year deep in prayer to help us pray over our assignments and all that we will do throughout the rest of that year. We're going to be praying over you. We're going to be praying for you. We're going to be praying for breakthrough. We're going to be praying for freedom and just so much. The theme that God's given me for 2024 is restored to be released, because there's just some things that are about to happen, and we're about to walk in the fullest expression of what God has called us to do. So the question is going to be released for what? And there is more in 2024. Like that's what I know for sure, that there is more in 2024. And this will be a place that is going to be so powerful. And so I'm excited about it. And I don't want you to miss out. So go to bit.ly/WSP 2024 to register for that. Early registration, I think, is over, but registration is still open. So I want to make sure that you do tap in and connect with us there and make your way to Georgia. People are already booking air flights, airfare, and hotel rooms are already being booked. And so we thank you, those who are taking early action. I love early action takers. Love it, love it, love it. I've been praying for a spirit of early to be released in the nation. Like, bless the people early, Lord. Because as a host, it's like, whoo, I think just y'all make me nervous. Just wait till the last minute. You make my nerves on edge. So I've been praying for a spirit of early. So when you're in the prayer closet, Pastor Rhoda, pray for the saints to have an early spirit. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all. I'm going to let you go. Have an amazing evening. I got everyone. Did everyone share?
I'm just wanted to say that I started a speaking business or speaking ministry. So I've launched out. So it's LynetteJacksonSpeaks.com. And I'm really excited about it. And if you're interested in having us come out to your church to do leadership development, SWOT analysis, just go to LynetteJacksonSpeaks.com and hit the big book me button.
The big book me
button. Thank you so much for this opportunity and this platform. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm excited to receive all copies of books and invitations to events and all the things. And anyone that knows anything about me, if I can't be present physically, I will always try to support some other way, by way of sponsorship or, sending someone that is in the city that can get there. We will find a way. And that is one of the things that I would say that even is an extra privilege is as a mentee. Like, I don't do that for everybody because I can't do that for everybody. But there are people that we have deep relationship with that I will make sure and try to make a greater effort to make certain things happen that I can be a part of if I'm able. So that's just, a relationship reward, I guess. All right. So have an amazing evening. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, y'all. Enjoy your time this week and find time to rest as well as eat. All right. Good night. Love y'all. Have an amazing evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.